Hello everyone, welcome to Recursive Gaming. I have for you another video on Sands of Salzaar. This is really important. I wanted to get this video out first before all of the other guides and really cool info that I have planned for this game. This is just too important to wait, so for all of you who are buying this game while it's on sale right now, I feel like it's really important for you to get this information as soon as possible so you can get as much enjoyment as possible out of this game. So, let's just go ahead and get right into it. We're going to tackle the game mods today. It may seem like an unimportant topic or something that you can play with when you feel like, but unfortunately, the studio that produced this game did not do an excellent job of advertising all of the features that the game has available. And so even me, when I first started playing this game, I did not know about these features, and I'm so glad I figured it out. My enjoyment of the game has skyrocketed. I thought I had hit the ceiling as far as experiencing everything, and I was just playing with new characters and trying out new skill builds and stuff, but honestly, what I'm about to show you completely changed the game. So let's go ahead and take a look. When you go to the workshop, there's a couple of mods I recommend. The rest, go ahead and take a look at, but there's only a few I actually recommend. This one is very important, okay? This is the World of the Inherited Spirit. It's the update for English support, and it's requiring the following content. The expansion, okay, that's really important. The expansion for Sands of Salzaar Among Legends resource pack. So this game has an expansion. I didn't know that. I didn't see that information anywhere. They released an expansion for this game, like a whole content update with a whole lot of new features, but it's a mod, right? That's super odd, you might think, but it's a mod. It's not 100% complete. There's still some translation issues. That being said, it's better than a mod. Okay, so it was actually done by the game, creators themselves, by the developers themselves. So it's higher quality than an average mod, and it fits seamlessly with the rest of the world. It fits seamlessly with the rest of the game. So it's basically just an update to the game. It's a whole. It's just mind-blowing how much this has in it, and they don't even tell you. Honestly, it doesn't describe how much it does for the game, but it adds so much. It adds quests, it adds characters, it adds items, it adds shops, it adds customization options, it adds new different spells and skills and arcana and all kinds of stuff. So it's just ridiculous how much this update adds to the game. So there it is right there, World of the Inherited Spirit. All right. And it revolves around a specific character and a specific storyline that they added. But that being said, when you install this, you're also going to have access to some other stuff that may look a little bit confusing and unfinished, but trust me, it fits into the world just fine. It works in the game just fine. It's pretty high quality content, so it's just the translation that they have issues with sometimes. So don't worry about it too much. Just do what I'm telling you, and you won't regret it. Okay, so this right here is not part of that official content I was talking about. This is an actual mod from somebody. That being said, if you've played the game, you'll know that you play with Elena, I think it's called. Elena is one of the main characters in the game. She's kind of like the game's narrator, or a main character that even plays with you in your battles, or helps you to survive, however you want to say it. But basically, you get the chance to play with her on your team, okay, for many parts of the story, right? She's integral to the story. So she already exists as a character in the game. In fact, you see her more in the game than most of the legacy characters that you unlock doing those quests. So it didn't make sense for her not to be in the game as a playable character through the legacy shop, given that you already get the chance to battle with her in the main game, and she's fully fleshed out, has skills and everything. So this mod adds her to the legacy shop. I don't think it's broken. I think she's well designed. She's a great character. If you want to spend your legacy points on her, I've tried her out. She's great. She's a really strong archer. So if you're looking for a ranged archer unit, very strong DPS with lots of crowd control, she's an excellent unit. And like I said, it's not game breaking, and I don't know why they didn't just add her to the legacy shop anyways, given that she's already in the game so much. So anyways, get this one as well, and Nijek Elena, and you get to play with her on your team by buying her in the legacy shop after you've unlocked her. Anyways, so here we go. This one is so incredibly important. You've probably seen this already. This is one of, there's another one down here, Infinite Durability, but this one only has 7.7k subscriptions at 95%. So just because this one's at 99% at 23.7k subscriptions, that's the reason I trust this one more. Also, this one is fully updated for English. So I cannot recommend this enough. If you do nothing else based on this video, go directly to the mod workshop and install this mod. Repairing equipment in the game is an absolute nightmare. It sucks so much. It's terrible. Totally ruins the gameplay. I did not have this mod installed for my first playthrough, and I wish I had. Having to repair equipment all the time was a massive headache. So just don't bother with it. It's a stupid mechanic, and they did not give the weapons and equipment enough durability, and it disappears too fast. So you just end up spending lots of ridiculous time repairing stuff you shouldn't have to. You don't even have to battle. Time just has to pass, and it just degrades over time for no reason. So just install this mod. Don't deal with having to repair your equipment anymore. Be done with that headache. Okay, so that's 3 mods. That's all I'm recommending. Equipment durability, add Elena to the legacy shop, and this content update. Okay, now once you've done that, it downloads them. Once you select them, it downloads them. I did not know this. So for the longest time, I was trying out new content, just testing out the mods, and I didn't realize you have to go to manage mods to actually get them to work. Okay, so here it's not translated for English, right? But when you click it, you see a different version, but you still understand which one it is that you selected. Okay, obviously it's not translated for English, but there's the same picture at least, so we know which one we're getting. And here's a little more descriptive info for all the stuff that's in the game that they added. And I don't think this is actually everything. This is only some of the things. But yeah, like I said, it's a massive content update. So, first of all, you need this, okay? You need the Among Legends resource pack in order for this to work, right? It says right here, Among Legends resource pack with a check mark. So first come here to the expansion. Oh, I can't believe they didn't tell me about this. Like, you buy the game, you don't know how much from the game is missing. So they add a whole new character. Her name is Celine. You install this Among Legends resource pack, which also makes this work as well. So you got to get both of those. You go to your plugin. These are the ones you selected. This is the repair one. This is adding Elena to the legacy shop. And this is also adding the updated mod, or not, the updated content, I guess, from the patch to the game, the expansion. So then you come to campaign. I am running this, but I actually don't know what it does. No preview, nothing. But it was here, and because this is so important and adds so much to the game, I just figured this isn't really a mod. It says local for one, and it's not a mod. So I didn't see the harm in getting this, so I'm not sure what it's adding to the game. But for all I know, some of the stuff I'm seeing in my game now is because I added this. And my game isn't broken, it runs just fine. So get both of these in the expansion. Okay, come to your plugin, get the ones that you selected. Come to campaign and get this one, and that's it. And that's what I can recommend for the mods. And it's going to add so much to your game, guys. You're missing half the game. It's ridiculous how much they add. So honestly, yeah, I can't believe they didn't tell us about that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you Celine, and I'm going to show you Elena, and I'm going to show you one other person. Okay, so this is also added by the mod content pack. This is a new character, another new character, and another new... Well, actually, you played as her before, and I think he's in the story as well. So anyways, whole new storylines, guys. So whole new storylines, whole new quests. You can play with these characters, and as you do, it unlocks more stuff. So anyways, this is Celine. She has an amazing story. She has so many more quests, and well-designed and translated for English quests that it's just awesome. So I played through the full storyline in Spiritmancer, and a lot of the storyline in Spirit Witch, and some of the storyline in the Sultan. And Celine is by far my favorite character in the game, and my favorite storyline in the game. It's just phenomenal. So when they added this character, and she's based off of content from another game that they have, character from Among Legends. So Among Legends is another game by this studio. They took her from that game and put her in this one. And They did such a good job with the content update for her. They added so much to the game. I'm telling you, if you've been playing this game and you have not done what I just did, where I went to the mods and I activated that expansion, you've been missing out on so much. It's going to blow your mind. Okay, so let's take a look at Celine. And nothing is really new added to the legacy shop here. Okay, if we go to items, also nothing new. However, if we go to squad, we can see these others that have been added. Right? So these are all added, but you don't have access to these until you play through those other new characters that I showed you. So she's from the second Spiritmancer playthrough. Once you play it through, you get access to her. And the same with some of these. So more legacy characters to unlock. I have not tested these, have not played those extra storylines yet, but if they're half as good as the storyline for Celine, then you're in for a treat. So, I've talked about Threnody and how good she is. What do I want to do? I want to show you for sure Elena, right? I want to show you two other people, but I need to do this so I can actually show them. So I want to add two more. Let's show you my favorites. If I can recommend people to take from this, I would recommend, if you're not going to get the mod for Elena, that's totally fine, but I always recommend Threnody. She's amazing. So I want to do like a skill guide real quick before the end of this video. And I'm going to show you Celine, obviously. And then, of all of these characters, I like Princess Bellin and Rick the most. Rick is probably one of the best support hero characters in the game. She's phenomenal. Really good. Yusef is good, but not as good as he sounds. Okay, so between Yusef and Princess Bellin is actually better. And between Omar, and Omar's better than I thought, guys. Omar is actually a pretty good character. Totally worth taking. So let me put into perspective. A lot of people have been taking the Fire Elemental, the Deceptive Totem, and the Call Wolf. Not all three, obviously, they take their favorite, but they take a summoning ability to make the early game easier. I don't recommend that anymore. Okay, so the Fire Elemental is a T5 summon on a magic character or an Arcana class. It's kind of broken, actually. It's ridiculously strong. So this is like having it's stronger than a companion. Okay, so it's like a level 10 companion with good gear. It's ridiculously strong. So it makes the early game very easy. However, it falls off, right? It definitely falls off at the end game, and it doesn't have a skill tree, and you can't equip it with gear. So after level 10, it starts to become less effective. So actually, if you're going to be spending some legacy points, and you're willing to, float things around a bit and spend less points on one thing that you like and more points on another, don't get the summon, don't get the Deceptive Totem, don't get the summon, don't get any of these skills. In fact, spend your points on Omar. He's only 80. It's not that much more. Okay? Omar is an excellent tank. A really good companion for tanking. Right? So he's got a good kit. But that being said, I want to show you Princess Bellin. So if I could recommend just two, if you just take two squad companions, the two best on this entire list that I've tested and used in my playthroughs, it would be Princess Bellin and Threnody, the two most broken companions that I've found that you can get. They have very unique skill kits to them. They're just really effective and great. Let's go ahead and take a look at them. I'm not going to actually play this. I just want to show you guys the skill trees. This is Celine. Okay. Like I said, there's so much added to the game. Her story is fantastic. You're in for a real treat if you play her. And she's incredibly strong. Like really, really, really strong. So let's go over her skills first. So Celine, she has here one main skill, Incantation Strike. It hits all enemies within 1,000 cubits, a really big range. It's like a really wide slash, so it hits a whole lot of stuff in front of you. At level 3, it adds a tier 3 frost effect. So you can see down there the programming for that's a bit, it actually shows 0 layers. That doesn't go up, it stays at 0, but I've tested it and it does actually add a tier 3 frost effect once it's at level 3. So it still works. And then this increases the range to 1,500 cubits. It's a really, really big wide slash. And then here we've got this. Increases damage caused to units in frost effect increased by 25%. She's got a lot of skills that give frost effect. In addition to, if you're taking Threnody, she's going to be doing frost effect as well. So that extra 25% damage on this skill is going to be getting procced quite often. Okay, so here she has a teleport that, based on how many units are in the area that you teleport to, she gains a massive HP shield, which is based on her magic attack. Now, she's got a lot of physical damage. Some of her abilities are based off of magical attack, but that's just to keep them less overpowered. If this was based off her physical attack, it would be so overpowered it would be crazy. So the fact that it's got magic attack doesn't mean to build Celine as magic attack. You're still going to build her as a physical attacker. It's to keep the ability from being overpowered. Okay? So they just based it off of magic attack, when they could have honestly just based it off of skill level and done the math themselves, but that's just how they did it. Okay, so then you've got down here, HP regenerated every second for 10 seconds. And then over here, increases it to 15 seconds. And you're like, oh, more HP, 5 more seconds of healing, whoopee. But no, come here. For 15 seconds, you have critical rate increased by 20% in addition to a heal. So it's pretty good. And then down here, you've got another ability. And as you can see, these have arrows. So you have to choose them all and go in a line. So down here, you've got Celestial Blade. Shines with the blinding light that deals a good amount of damage and pulls all enemies within 500 cubits and adds a blinding effect to them for 6 seconds. Hold on, for 8 seconds. Wow, blinding effect for 8 seconds. So very strong, okay? And then increases to 40 magic damage. And yeah, so it just becomes really strong. Raven Blood. So then here we go over to Celestial Radiance, which is an aura within 1,000 cubits that gives you a shield. And if you upgrade it, it gives everything within 1,000 units a shield. So you and all your friendlies, you and your whole team. So a very strong HP shield that goes up because it's based off of physical attack and magical attack and skill level. So yeah, very strong. Now you can't increase this. It's only got one skill point you can put into it. And same with this. But still, a whole team-wide shield plus increases the damage reduction of all allies by 4%. That goes up as you get more magic attack. So just very strong HP shield on everybody. And then this is a teleport that is both a physical damage hit and then a magic damage hit. This increases the magic damage hit after you get where you're teleporting to 800 yards all around you and a freeze for 3 seconds. Okay, so it's crowd control plus a teleport. It's not like she's teleporting into the enemy horde or the enemy team and then just getting insta-killed. As soon as she lands, she freezes everything around her for 3 seconds. So just amazing. Very, very amazing ability. This binds all enemies within 800 cubits area for 5 seconds. And this makes them all take 15% more damage for 15 seconds. Okay, just so good. And then here, another skill. You can see some of the programming there when it says detached. Defense value. Burn Frost electric effect for 5 seconds. And then here's Selene Ebon Anguish. The range of Ebon Anguish released for the 3rd time is expanded to 800 yards. Should say 800 cubits. And it may cause critical hit effect. And it must cause critical hit effect. So guaranteed crit. So here the 3rd hit is going to be a big hit. Now you can level this up 5 times for some interesting damage increase. Look at that. The first one is 150 times skill level. So 150 times 5 is how much this is going to go up just from skill level. Plus 0.5 times skill level magic attack. Oh my goodness. So this ability is going to hit like a truck. Now you have to complete the 4th turmoil, right? And then down here, you've got Supremacy. Pulls all enemies within 800 cubits in front of you over 3 seconds. And then deals a lot of damage and stuns them. And this can be leveled up 3 times, so the stun gets longer and the damage goes up. And this down here, all enemies hit by the skill, and you can see the programming is there instead of a translation. But increases magic damage by 50%. 50%, guys. So all enemies hit the skill, either take magic damage equal to 50% for however many seconds, or take increased magic damage by 50% for 15 seconds. And I think it's the second one. So I think all enemies hit by this skill take increased magic damage by 50%. So as you guys can see, her skill kit's just absolutely super strong compared to all the other characters in the game. She might actually be the strongest character in the game. So yeah, awesome skill kit. And like I said, her story is amazingly fun. She's a great character. Now let's get to adding Elena to the game. If you get the mod and add Elena, and like I said, she's already kind of a playable character. She's already on your team for large portions of the story. Then this won't be your first time using her in your team. It'll just be the first time you get to have her on your team through the whole playthrough and actually put good gear on her and level her up and all that stuff. So let's take a look. These are not as exciting. From what I can tell, agility does not increase attack power even if you're a bow user or a dagger user. So agility does nothing for you but increase your attack speed. So agility increases her attack speed, and then down here gives her 10% evasion. This, however, 300 mana for a massive hit for goes 3,000 cubits in a specific direction and hits everything in that direction, and then binds everything it hits for 5 seconds. Very, very strong on a cooldown of 15 seconds and 300 mana. So a really, really strong ability. Here you've got Nature's Protection. It grants a shield to nearby allies for 10 seconds, and shield durability is based on the caster's magic attack. 100 mana, 15 second cooldown. Very, very, very strong. Here you've got Dark Healing. Manipulates dark forces to heal a target. 15 second cooldown, and only costs 10 mana. So if you have her on your team, she's a very reliable healer and will keep you alive. Will make your survival much easier. And then as you can come over here, you can start seeing really, really strong archer character build. I think she's probably the strongest archer in the game. So they've really made her a very strong character, which is part of the reason when she's on your team, it feels like it's the story. For instance, when you're fighting the bosses, she seems very strong, and it's because she is. So yeah, you can actually use her now, and she's great. Let's talk about Threnody. I've talked about her before. I recommend not getting all of her abilities. Okay, so I have been noticing that when I was starting and I was playing, I was giving all of my companions every single skill because they can actually use all their skills. See, we can't. We have limited 6 skills on our bar. Okay, and we can't get more. We can't get any more. We can only fit 6. So we have to be very judicious and very restrictive with our skills that we choose. But with companions, I just got them 1 rank in every skill, so I thought, ooh, they'll have all these skills to use, they'll be so much stronger. But no. My companions run out of mana in the first 10 seconds, and then they have nothing to do but auto attack. So if you're building your characters, I suggest you only give them the abilities you actually want them to use that will be useful and that you've leveled up, and don't get them skills at all, even 1 skill point. Don't even put 1 skill point into a skill you don't want them to use, because they'll just be wasting mana and then have nothing to do, because they can't use mana pots like you can. Once they're out of mana, they're out of mana and they become useless. They just auto attack. Not useless, but yeah, not nearly as useful as with their skills. So Princess Bellin is one of the strongest companions in the game that you can have. Okay, because she's the only one I've found that has Leech. Leech is an extremely valuable item or affix to get on items, but I have yet to find it on an item. I've seen it in somebody else's playthrough, but I have yet to get an item that has Leech on it. Leech is so strong. Really helps you keep you alive just based on the damage that you deal. Free healing as you kill stuff. So it's one of the best effects you can get in the game, and Princess Bellin is the only character I've seen that has it in her skill set. So Rampage does damage, great. Bloodsucker does damage. However, it also recovers 40% of the damage dealt, and this increases based on skill level. Okay, so get 1 skill point in this. Don't max this out. Come down here, max this out. You're taking advantage of her leech abilities. Okay, she's going to be dealing damage and keeping herself alive. Down here, also, the last line says each strike is imbued with a 10-second leech effect. This is the ability that you can sometimes see other people doing. I don't know if you've noticed, but they flash and then somebody dies, and they flash and somebody else dies. So this is it. She flashes around hitting people really, really hard and also healing herself at the same time. This ability is good, charges, launches enemies and the attack path airborne and deals damage. Hook hold charge does 500 cubits area damage after hooking onto an enemy and pulling stuff to the target. So you can think of it as a charge to a target, and then once she charges to the target, she deals a lot of damage in a 500 cubit area around that area she lands on. Iron Lung gives her a little bit of mana regen per second. It's not very much, but it does increase her movement speed. So it's okay. I don't really like this passive all that much. I would not recommend maxing it, actually. It's not going to be as useful as you think. This, however, is an excellent passive. Definitely max this. This is also an excellent passive. Max this. Don't bother getting this. At base rank, you only get 4 seconds of resilience. That's terrible. Okay? And it's 3+ skill level, not 3 times skill level. So if you max this out, you're spending 250 mana and 3 skill points to get 6 seconds of resilience. Not going to matter. Not going to keep her alive all that much longer. Okay? And it costs a lot of mana. And it's not very useful. Don't even put 1 skill point into that. It's just going to waste her mana for only 4 seconds of resilience. It's terrible skill. Don't ever get it on any character. It's a waste of mana. And then taunt. This is good. This is good. Also, it's not a bad idea for her to taunt because, like I said, she's healing herself with her leech, so it's okay for her to be taking the damage. This is a decent ability that does damage and also gives her an HP shield. So again, keeping herself alive. This, max this out. Damage protection from melee attacks by 15%. That's very strong. So let's go through the math here. So she's got 1. So let's do, and she put it into shield bash. So let's go 2, 3, 4, 5 to max. 6, 7, 8 to max. Right here. 9, 10, 11 to max. And then let's go over here. 12 and 13, 1 skill point each. We're going to max this. 14, 15, 16, 17. Ooh, we don't have enough, do we? 18, 19. So we didn't have enough to get the damage, and we didn't have enough to get the 15% decrease. So something has to go. Maybe not get the hook hold charge, just get the charge instead. That way you could get the 15% increase. And don't put additional skill points into that. And don't get any in that. So even then you don't get the damage from this. So maybe this isn't worth it. Maybe you'd rather have the damage, right? Because you're getting, you know, lifesteal based off the damage you deal. But like I said, one of the only companions in the game that I've seen that has leech in her skill kit. And it's just a fantastic skill kit. So Princess Bellin. My second favorite squad member to take from Legacy or recruit in the game, because you don't have to take her from Legacy. You can actually recruit Princess Bellin in the game. That being said, there's a bit of RNG, and sometimes it's difficult to get exactly the people that you want. There is a bit of RNG involved. Serenity, of course, we talked about. Just an amazing character. Okay, so let's talk about how to build her when you have her. I want to point this out. This skill sounds great, but look at the mana cost. 650, okay? Let's see how much mana she has. 1900 mana. That's great. Okay. She's going to be able to cast it twice, and she'll be right? She'll be out of mana after she casts it twice, because she's got these other abilities she's doing. Okay, so do you really want to put skill points in it? Now, if I had enough skill points, I could show you. She gains damage to enemies within 7 times. See how it hits 7 times? That goes up upon skill level. So after you've increased this enough, it hits 11 times. So this does increase quite a bit from skills. If you do max it, it's worth the skill point investments. You get more than just increased damage. You also get increased damage hits. So it's very effective. This is an excellent ability. Alright, sorry about that. I think my dog was barking. Hopefully it didn't sound too loud in the mic. Alright, so if I had to suggest how to build her, I would only put 1 skill point her in this. So when you get her, it might be worth reloading until you get her to spend the points the way you like. This is kind of a wasted skill point here. It doesn't increase the freeze. So when it comes to increasing damage, it's usually not worth to use skill points to increase skills just to increase damage. You want to increase skills that also gain some utility from it. So either they gain increased stun duration or you know, different forms of utility. So if this freeze increased from 2 seconds to 4 seconds to 6 seconds or whatever, but by increasing this, you only increase skill damage. That's it. You don't increase the utility of the skill at all. So it's generally not worth it, because you could accomplish the same thing by coming over here and getting your magic attack increased by quite a bit. So I'd rather spend magic attack, or I'd rather spend skill points to get magic attack increased, and that's going to increase the damage of all my abilities, instead of the skill points just boosting 1. Alright, so If abilities only benefit from skill points to boost damage, don't bother. Just leave it at 1 skill point, and buff the abilities that get utility as well as damage. Like this one increases the amount of times that it hits, so that's worth the skill points. This, the stun duration doesn't go up, it stays at 2 seconds. Keep this at 1 skill point. This is worth increasing to 3 tier, and the reason why is because it gets a 3-tier shock effect. So it's not just the damage that increases, it's also the shock effect. And it lasts for 10 seconds. So this is worth 3 skill points. You know, but don't just put a skill point here for increased damage. Put it over here in magic attack instead. Static shield is excellent. It doesn't just increase damage taken by shock effects. It just increases, it reduces damage taken by 25% overall. So basically 25% less damage. Yeah, that's actually kind of overpowered. That's a really strong ability to take. So definitely get static shield. Chain lightning is not as great as it sounds. The first 3 enemies hit take a good amount of damage, but after that they take very, very little, and the shock effect only lasts for 5 seconds as opposed to the 10 seconds from this one. This is on a 4-second cooldown. This is on an 18-second cooldown. This is actually, I think, one of the best single target DPS abilities in the game. Lightning bolt. If you're going to learn any arcana, learn Lightning Arcana and just max Lightning Bolt and don't worry about the rest of the tree. I mean, you can get, Magic Attack and Static Shield, but Tier 3 Shock Effect for 10 seconds, massive amount of damage. It doesn't have, what I'm looking for? It doesn't have a travel time. It's an instant cast, and it just falls down on their head and zaps them. The cast is so fast. So basically, I think this is honestly the single target, the best single target DPS ability in the game. Lightning Bolt is really, really good for single target damage. And then over here in Light Arcana, I don't recommend maxing both. And the reason why is she's not going to have enough mana, and she's going to go out of mana and then just auto attack, right? And she won't be as useful. So if you're maxing Snowstorm, don't max Light's Judgment. In fact, don't even put a single skill in it so she doesn't waste mana in it. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to have too many abilities that cost lots of mana. Like if you do this one and this one and this one, then she'll pop all 3 abilities, be out of mana, and then never use a skill the rest of the whole fight. So don't do that. Either max this one or max this one. You got to choose. You got to make sure they're not using all their skills and running out of mana too fast. Blazing Missile is worth maxing. Put all 3 skill points into Blazing Missile because it increases their reduces their hit by 60% instead of just 20. So the hit reduction increases as you add skill points, which makes it worth it. It just makes the enemy miss, which keeps you safe. So, Radiant Totem is excellent because it's not just a heal, it's also a buff. And it increases all the damage that the allies do within range, which is 1,000 cubits, by the way, so it's a pretty good range, for all allies by 15%. And this goes up by 5% per level, so it's actually 25%. Increases all damage done by your allies by 25% who are in range of this totem. So, if I was going to spend my skill points, let's add it up and see how we can spend it. I hate that there's a wasted skill point here, so let's actually reload theoretically and say that that's not there. So we'll start from 4 and say that that's not there. So that'll be 5. We'll get Snowstorm because I think Snowstorm is actually better than Chain Lightning. So we'll get Snowstorm and we'll max that. So 6, 7. So now we're at level 7 and this is maxed. We're going to get this, 8. Okay. We're going to come over here. We're going to get 9, 10, 11 to max Lightning Bolt. We're going to get Static Shield for 12. We're going to come over here and get 13, 14, 15 to get the full 60% hit reduction for Blazing Missile. Then we're going to get all the way up to 19 for Radiant Totem. And that leaves us only 1 skill point. We could either get Dazzling Shield, which is an excellent ability, or we could get Arcana Mastery, 1 level for 50 magic attack. Okay? So yeah, you got to pick and choose which ones you like. If you want this one, don't even get this one. Don't put a single skill point in it. Come over here and do, actually, yeah, only one skill point. It's not worth it to put 3 skill points in this. So instead of this, just get 1 skill point in this, and then you have 2 free skill points to either max out Arcana Mastery and Dazzling Shield or whatever else you feel like. But yeah, see, this gains no utility from additional skill points. So you only put 1 skill point into this. So that's how you decide how to build your skill tree and what's useful for the characters. It's all about if I add a skill point to this skill, am I just increasing damage? If yes, don't do it. Keep it at 1 skill point and buy passives instead. That's going to improve the usefulness of the character overall, instead of just boosting the damage of 1 skill. So if you're just boosting the damage of 1 skill, that's not worth the skill point, guys. Save it for something else, like a passive. Alright, so that's that. I want to show you this little trick at the end of this video. When you first start the game, the first thing you should do is notice Trinity is at 50. Princess Bellin is at 50. Anyone you bring as a squad member is at 50. Okay? So I can come here, I can do dialogue about your command. Nice. 50 is the cutoff on any companion you have. So the way it works is they come to you at either 15 or 20 affinity. You can recruit them. Depends on who you're trying to recruit. But the more rare ones, the better ones, require 20 affinity base. How much they like you in order to be able to be recruited, or they'll say, I'm too busy. So when you've gotten their affinity up to 20, you can recruit them. And then once you get it up to 50, you can increase by dialogue and then about your command to skill level 2. Right there. So you went up to increase his pierce by 20% instead of just 10. Same with Trinity. Right here it says a 5% chance to freeze targets. Let's increase hers because she's also at 50. There we go. Nice, free, awesome benefits. And all I had to do was talk to them and ask them about their command. And that was it, because they're at the threshold. So if you're taking squad members from Legacy and their affinities at 50, just make that the first thing you do. Increase their command abilities. And keep that in mind for whenever you have other characters. I don't think she has a command ability. No. So Elena actually doesn't even have a command ability for you to raise. That's why there's no option for that in her chat. But if you're bringing a squad member from Legacy and they have this, then yeah, totally go ahead and do that. And keep that in mind as you're leveling up your affinity with your companions in the game. I'm going to make another whole video about that because there's so many things that you can do with your companions that's not explained. There's a lot of the things you miss in the game because they just don't tell it to you. And most people play through the whole game and never even know about these hidden features. So I'm going to continue presenting videos about hidden features in the game, how to get the most out of it, the cool, fun parts of this game that you miss, you don't know about. Yeah. I hope this showed you guys Princess Celine and that expansion content. Trust me, if you play her, you're going to love the story. You're going to love the additions to the game. They added so much different abilities and arcana types and quests, just random quests out in the world too. Not just her specific story quests, but like quests all over the place. So it's like the world is more full. It has more people in it you can interact with. If you've played the game enough, then you've memorized the map. And I promise you, you'll be running around being like, that person wasn't there before. Let's talk to them. Oh, wow, that's a quest I haven't seen before, and that'll happen all the time. So definitely get the expansion, get Celine, play as Celine. I hope you all like this video. I hope you learned something that's going to help you get more enjoyment out of this game. And trust me, there's a lot more content coming, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Please like the video, comment in the comment section, and subscribe to the channel. It helps so much. Stay safe, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.